The olive flounder is a terrible name for a folding knife, which is why HX Outdoors probably made the right choice in calling its new D2 steel folder the Bastard Halibut. Now, if you have to name your new knife after your favorite flounder from the North Pacific, it's best to go with one that sounds a little more tactical, and not listen to the executive assistant Steve who's like, "How about Japanese flatfish?" What a goddamn worm. Anyway, the Bastard Halibut, which sounds like a curse from a terrible fisherman, is just under a 3-inch slip joint folder. And you're like, whoa, 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 you lost me at slip joint. Hey man, hold on, let me finish. It's a sub 3-inch slip joint that has a clever pivot adjustment tool that doubles as a covert knife lock. So it's sort of got a lock, even though it doesn't have one. And plus you get to use the word covert. It's like, we call it payday lending now instead of loan sharking or usury. So let's go over the dimensions so you can see if it's legal in your part of wherever. You got that overall length, the blade length, the handle length, some other numbers and some other numbers. Oh, and the weight. And some politician somewhere is like, "Hey boys, how about that weight? Have we ever thought about regulating that?" The BH, or Bastard Halibut, or just the Bastard, let's face it, is probably a copy of some shit, but I found it while perusing a website for stuff to review. And yes, I bought the Bastard. Seriously, it's not going to get old. It has that D2 blade steel. It costs about $25, which is a bit expensive for a Chinese folder, but not for D2. So this is either a deal or I'm a sucker because it's not really D2. You're like, yeah, I know which one. It has a what I'm going to declare a sheep's foot style blade and a hollow grind. The blade is coated in some satiny to matte smooth black finish. It almost looks like some sort of dark stone wash. The handle scales are G10 or K10 if you believe GearBest's website, which if you don't know, K10 is less rough than K9. Yeah, I know. Anyway, G10, because you can see the layers, the handle is nicely textured, it's a bit small, but not every knife has to be a big bladed cutter, right? I can still get all 4 fingers around it with no problem. You're like, it has a stainless steel liner, probably D2, right? Okay, I made that up. The clip can be positioned for tip up or right or left pocket carry. No tip down carry though. Okay, so how about that lock? So the Bastard has a pivot adjustment tool that's stored on the blade handle. And while you can also do air quotes there, it is actually for pivot adjustment. It's carried on the back of the blade while not being adjusted. Or say when it's open and you need the blade to stay more in place, like say a locking blade, you can store it in the front. The blade needs to be open to do this. When it's closed, you see there's a small hole on the tang. This is where the pivot runs through when the blade is open. So when you're done doing whatever, you can store it in the back again. While this is cool and all, the only thing is the tool is hard to remove when stored in the blade tang or the back. So you need a small prying tool to dislodge it, like a small tiny flathead screwdriver or the second knife you know you're carrying on you. I also found that it's better whenever you remove it from the blade area to push it through the other side with like a little pin or something, and that does the trick a lot easier. Deployment isn't fast. It can sort of be done with one hand. Maybe put a zip tie there. I don't know. Those never work for me. Closing it is a bit awkward too. Let's call it an awkward one-hand deployment and a safer opening and closing with 2 hands, but it can still be done with 1 hand. Anyway, you're like, hey man, I wonder how that locking mechanism holds up to say, I don't know, but alright, let's do it. I'll do a few of these and see what happens, but let me talk a bit more because that's what you're paying me to do. Okay, so the blade was pretty sharp out of the box, like nice and sharp, like good enough for me sharp. I like it a lot. It's definitely got some features that make it legal in areas with tough knife laws. And another thing to note, if you do anything that shall not be named that you're seeing here, expect the pin to get thrown out if you don't hold your finger over the hole. It happened to me, and I spent 10 minutes looking for it. Always check your laws first, because taking legal advice from people on YouTube is like trying to watch one of these videos and avoiding hearing a dick joke. The slip joint mechanism holds well enough for most tasks, although the pivot adds a lot of strength when you need it for doing dumb shit. So how sharp is it? Did it stay sharp? Did the edge have to be sharpened after any of this? Well, the answer is no. After all the batoning and whatever, it was still sharp enough to shave all of my arm hair and probably the rest of my body hair too. But that's for another video. Alright, looks like solid gear for not a lot of money. So instead of that bastard halibut, it's more like that bastard halibut. Anyway, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Give the video a thumbs up and check out all the other stuff I've done this year. And watch out for all the stuff to come. Thanks for watching.